Hare Krishna, welcome to the question and answer session on chapter 9 of the Bhagavad Gita. So we have many questions and let us start right away. The first question by Anuradha Valluri ji. As we are listening, I have also realized that I may have to repeat and see the previous chapters again and again to understand them and also read them over and over again. Mere reading may not be enough. What else should be done? So, yes, the subject matter of the Bhagavad Gita is so spiritually enlivening and enriching that one can read it not just once but again and again and again and get more and more spiritual knowledge and enrichment from the repeated readings of the Bhagavad Gita. So, apart from mere reading, one should practice the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita in one's life and especially in the association of other people who also follow the path of the Bhagavad Gita. This makes it the following of the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita very effective, and also our spiritual progress becomes much faster in the association of other people who are also practicing the path of the Bhagavad Gita. The next part of the question also, Prabhuji, why is it that we are not insisted to read the teachings of Bhagavad Gita at an early age, unlike other religions? Actually, the instruction to start the study of spiritual knowledge is highly recommended and stressed right from the age of 5 in Sanatana Dharma. It is also stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The great devotee Prahlada instructs that Shri Prahlada Uvacha Kaumaram Acharet Pragnyo Dharman Bhagavataniha Durlabham Manusham Janma Tadapyarthadam Adhruvam, that one must begin the path of spiritual life, one must follow the path of the Vedic scriptures right from the age of 5. One should dharman bhagavataniha, the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the study of these two greatest gifts to mankind must be begun from the age of 5, because durlabham manusham janma, the human form of life is the only chance and opportunity to study and follow the teachings of these great scriptures and attain the supreme perfection of material existence. So actually the Vedic scriptures and all the great acharyas have instructed us to begin the study of the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam right from childhood, but somehow we have become callous and we have become neglectful of this very important duty to be performed as a human being. So what should we do? Yes, we should again become responsible to study and also impart this most important knowledge. Krishna repeatedly says in the Bhagavad Gita that this is Raja Vidya. This is the king of all knowledge. This is the most important knowledge required for every human being. So therefore, knowing its importance, just like we send our children to school to study many material subject matters, we should also have a systematic way of teaching the most important knowledge to the young generation, to children. The next question by Arati Girishji. Number one, you have many questions, about 4 questions. So let us see the first question. In Shiva Purana, Lord Shiva is said to be the ultimate God, but in Gita, Krishna is said to be the ultimate. Please justify. The fact is that even in Shiva Purana, just like in the Bhagavad Gita, it is very clear. In every chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it is emphatically confirmed and established that the supreme absolute truth, God, is Krishna. Krishna repeatedly says this, especially from the 7th chapter onwards, and this fact that the supreme absolute truth is Krishna is also established in Srimad Bhagavatam in all the 18 Puranas, including even the Shiva Purana. Just like there is one shloka, one verse, which is found in 3 Puranas, Shiva Purana, Linga Purana and Skanda Purana, which says that this is also a statement by Lord Shiva himself, wherein he says, Alodhya sarva shastrani vicharya cha punah punah, that alodhya sarva shastrani, if you go through the study of all the Vedic scriptures, sarva shastrani vicharya cha punah punah, and contemplate repeatedly on the final conclusion, that what is the final siddhanta, the final understanding of the supreme absolute truth. Idam ekam sunishpannam, one thing is conclusive, which is dhyeyo narayana sada, that the supreme worshipable Lord for all the living beings is Lord Narayana or Shri Krishna. It is also very nicely explained in the Padma Purana that although sometimes the Puranas may glorify some of the Devatas to be on a superior, on a higher platform, yet this is only to help people on a certain level of guna to rise to a higher level of worship. It is very nicely explained that Vyamohaya characharasya jagatastete puranagamaha tam tameva hi devatam paramikam jalpantu kalpavadhi siddhante punareva eka eva Bhagavan Vishnuhu samastagama vyapareshu vivechana vyatiraktam niteshu nishchiyate, that in the final conclusion, if we take all the Puranas and all the Vedic scriptures in proper perspective, then Siddhante Punar Eka Eva Bhagavan Vishnu, it will be very clearly established that the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Absolute Truth is Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. So next question, how are some people born very intelligent, they have some supreme power or divine powers? Are they born divine because of their karma, or do they acquire, or both? So whatever abilities in terms of janma, aishwarya, shruta, shri, in terms of our beauty, our wealth, our possessions, to some extent is decided by our purvajita karma, but we also create our further karma by the exercise of our free will. So we are in a certain position of material qualification and standing because of our past destiny, due to our past karma, and we are again creating further karma by our own free will. I have already explained this earlier, that there are two things, our purva karma and also our free will, which is what we acquire by our free will. So both karma and what we acquire now do play a role. The next question, do we have a choice of dying the way we want and the time? We definitely, especially in the human form of life, is the only chance to choose, to decide how we can die. But for that, we need preparation. So I have already explained that death is like the final examination. So just like for the final examination, you need to prepare and study for the entire year. Likewise, to face the final examination of our life, which is death, we also need a lifetime of preparation, abhyasa. So what that abhyasa is, Krishna has explained already in 8.7 as Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha, that especially for a karma yogi or bhakti yogi, Krishna says that whatever activity you are doing, you should always remember me. And for yogis, how they should do it, it is explained in 10.13, that even they at the final time of death, whole life they should prepare in the Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and finally at the time of uh, uh, death, one should utter the Omkara and then fix the mind on the Supreme Lord Krishna, and in this way a Dhyana Yogi should prepare to leave his body. So yes, we can choose, especially human beings and yogis, but we need to prepare for how we meet our death. The next question, uh, nowadays birth is happening according to the preferred time, example cesarean babies. How are their karma or fate defined? Actually, all these are questions asked by Arati ji. So whatever we may do, some adjustment in trying to select the time of our birth, whatever one may do, but whatever karma that we have, the living entity continues to come to take birth with the same karma, whatever time you may be born. So one cannot change our karma by these material adjustments. There is a nice proverb in Bengali that once a person wanted to escape from the punishment of karma of Yamaraja, so he thought, let me smear my body with some stool, with some dirty filthy stool from the drainage, and in that way the Yamadutas or the messengers of Yamaraja would not come to take him or capture him. So by either you apply like this or make any such material adjustment, one cannot escape the loss of karma. There is only one way, which is the path of Adhyatma. The last question asked by Arati ji is, should we believe in astrology or our karma? So whether you believe in karma or you believe in your astrology, you continue your material existence in the cycle of repeat and birth and death. So here in the Bhagavad Gita, the stress, the focus is on neither to believe in karma or astrology. Anyway, it will only lead to punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Neither karma can give you moksha nor astrology can give you moksha from punarjanma chakra. Only one thing can give you, which is adhyatma and bhakti. So believe in spirituality and believe in the path, the ultimate path in spirituality, which is bhakti or devotional service. Moving to the next question by Shri Venugopal ji. Namaste Guruji, it was a very nice session. Thank you very much. Guruji, in our daily life we don't get much time to do puja, to chant mantras. In this competitive world we have to work very hard for our survival. So it's a very long question. The gist of the question is that if I spend only 30 minutes to 1 hour a day for doing puja or chanting mantras, is it sufficient? So the thing is, yes, whatever time that you give to God, to worship God and to engage in his devotional service in chanting his holy name, it is, any time is most welcome, either 1 minute, 1 hour, or even 24 hours. So as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9.14, that gradually we learn the art of how to engage satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridavgataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Krishna uses the word satatam, nitya, that as we gradually advance on the path of spirituality, we can be engaged not 30 minutes or 1 hour. Every moment of our life we can remain in divine consciousness, in divine Krishna consciousness. So how is it possible? It is possible when we develop love of God. In fact, Krishna says, even in the stage of practice, abhyasa, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. In 8.7, Krishna has instructed Arjuna that even at the time of fighting the battle, you should remember me. So when people say that we are in this competitive world, we are engaged in so many activities, are you engaged in fighting a battle? We are engaged in much lesser activities. We don't even have to go and fight a battle. So what to speak of these small activities? Even in the most difficult work we may have, if we practice, we can remember the Supreme Lord, and that is the one of the most important principles of bhakti. So there is no excuse that I'm busy with my material work, so I cannot do. Even when you're doing your material work, you have your mind which you can dedicate to the Supreme Lord Krishna. So next question by Shri Bhaskar ji. Can we see Bhagavan in Kaliyuga by doing Ananya Bhakti? It may be Kaliyuga, Satyuga or any yuga. By Ananya Bhakti, one can definitely not only see God, one can see God, hear God, one can even play with God, one can even dance with God. That is the beautiful gift of Ananya Bhakti or pure devotional service. Next question again by Shri Bhaskar ji. We humans, despite doing bhakti during one's life, why does that person have to face troubles or miseries? Because the nature of this material world is repeatedly explained and mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita in 8.15 as dukkhalayam, in 9.33 as anityam asukham. You cannot change the uh, constitution of this samsara. This samsara is dukkhalaya. It is like a person who has fallen into the water and is drowning. Now, there is no point in uh, for a drowning person to ask, why are there so many waves here? Why am I drowning here in so many difficulties? Because you are in this place, in this samsara, in the waves of, in the ocean of samsara, we are drowning. So what should we do? Yes, there is a place where there is absolutely no suffering, and that is the eternal supreme kingdom of God. And Krishna is inviting all of us in every chapter of the Bhagavad Gita that you follow this path and you can return back home, back to Godhead. So why there is suffering? There is suffering because we are in the place of suffering, and God is inviting us to the place where there is no suffering at the time of death. So like you mentioned in 9.22, that Krishna says, you do bhakti and I will take care of you. Definitely when one takes up the path of bhakti, there is a lot of help in even facing our material miseries and conditions in this material world. So I will, because Krishna says yogakshemam vahamyaham, I shall take care of you, which means I shall take care of your consciousness, that although suffering may be there, you will not be affected by it. You will be on a much higher platform of consciousness. And we see this in the example of great devotees like the Pandavas, who repeatedly underwent a chain of suffering after suffering, and yet were firmly fixed in the divine consciousness of God. Or like Prahlada, in every step of his life, he had to face the most difficult miseries inflicted by his own father Hiranyakashipu, and even in spite of being just a small child of 5 years, Prahlada, the meaning of Prahlada itself is, Hlada means divine, supreme, spiritual happiness and bliss, and Prahlada means Prakrishta Rupena Hladaha, that one who is in the most divine state of bliss and happiness. So even when Prahlada is facing the greatest difficulties, he is not disturbed, he is in divine consciousness. The next question is, if a person does all bhakti and seva to Bhagavan and is unable to take the name of the Lord while he breathes his last, will he get mukti? So the answer is, it depends on the sincerity of the devotee in his practice of bhakti during his sound health and mind status. So this I have already mentioned in the Varaha Charama Shloka, that the Supreme Lord has given assurance that if one sincerely remembers him and engages in his devotional service, when one is in sound mind and body, then the Supreme Lord says, Nayami Paramam Gatim Aham Smarami Madbhaktam, that the Supreme Lord will remember such a sincere devotee at the time of his death, and he will take him to the supreme destination. So it depends on our sincerity. The next question by Lalita Ganeshji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, which all eatables should not be offered to God? So for that we need to first understand what we should offer to God. So we should offer to the Supreme Lord according to his will, which is very clearly expressed in the Bhagavad Gita, especially in 9.26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati, that one should offer from the range of leaves and vegetables and fruits and water and milk and grains. So mainly vegetarian food, and even in vegetarian food there are some restrictions given in the scriptures. So one should offer eatables according to the directions given by the Supreme Lord and by the great teachers, the acharyas, and according to these directions one should offer eatables to the Supreme Lord, but most important with bhakti upahritam, with pure devotion. So one should not offer, which means prohibited or forbidden items like meat or egg or tea, coffee, cocoa, and all these things which have been expressly been forbidden in the scriptures, including even mushrooms. So these are the forbidden items. There is a long list of it. So somebody may question that I like something, and I may like meat, and why can't I offer? For the Supreme Lord there is no problem. With an instant he can devour the entire universe as well. We find in the pastimes of Krishna many times, in order to protect the inhabitants of Vrindavana, he even devoured huge volumes of fire. So he can accept it, but we should offer according to what he has asked us to offer. So there are many prohibited items, and there are many items which have been expressly allowed. So in this way, there are many more questions in the second group of the WhatsApp group. So we'll have one more video, part 2 of the question answer session on chapter 9 of the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.